everyone. I'm Sudeepthi Dondapati. As we've been looking at a series of concepts for verbal English, this session is also going to be one of the essential aspects that we'll be looking at for appearing for this English verbal paper or English paper verbal English. So now, in order to qualify this placement exam, you have different subjects to do. So part of it, the English language is very important, and some companies will not qualify you until and unless you clear this written exam verbal English paper. So with that agenda, we've been looking at important, essential, significant components or aspects or different concepts for these different exams. So placement exam is also part of it, in order to appear for the campus drive. So before that, you have to clear this. So this is sometimes is very challenging job. It's a challenging job. Not everybody can really face this, because students who are properly qualified and who have ground basic concepts already in their knowledge schema, then they'll be able to do it. So we are just brushing up the existing knowledge on these different concepts. So every time, for every session, we've been looking at different topics, like one topic for I think like for 4 to 5 sessions, like that. So now in today's session, we are going to look at this error correction. What is this error correction? Is that the title of the exam, or is that the title of the paper, or is that title of the question? What is this actually? So let us look at that in detail. Let's get started. English grammar. So basically, this verbal English will focus on especially verbal English. So you don't have to write a descriptive or analyzing the content of it, like reading comprehension and the other aspects. You will have to focus only on a few grammatical concepts that are very integral and significant. So some of these concepts that I have arranged for you, so that you would have an idea about how this exam is going to be or is going to look like. So this error correction is all about correcting errors. So error correction is all about correcting errors. So why is this? So why do you have to correct, and what is that you really have to correct? So for example, in a given sentence, there will be a missing word sometimes, or there will be a word which is a wrong word, or sometimes this sentence construction is completely flaw, and you have to recognize the flaw, and then you have to come up with a flawless sentence. So you have to correct these errors that appear for the entire 25 questions, and sometimes some companies ask us around 24 questions for about 30 minutes or so. So a moral of that is right before your eyes now on the screen. So some error correction concepts are like this, like word completion, like you have to bridge in the sentence with an appropriate word, and sometimes you have to complete and correct the sentences that are given before you. So it's like, you have to correct, you have to fill in the gap, you have to produce a missing word. So all that is very important. You have to complete and bridge in this sentence, sentences. So that is one thing. Next, error identification. You have to identify the error and choose the right answer given below. For example, there is a sentence and 4 options are given for you, out of which one will be error-free and correct answer. So you have to identify that and have to replace that right word in the place of a wrong word. So what you're doing, you are correcting the sentence and you are writing the right appropriate answer. So sometimes word completion, you have to complete the sentence with words. Sometimes you have to complete the sentence with the right construction, in a sequence, in a right organized way, structural way. And the third thing is error identification. You identify the error sometimes, and that error might take place in at sometimes in sentences or in words. So at sentence level and at word level, you may have to recognize the error. So, and also this error correction happens also in the arrangement of sentences. For example, these are like jumbled, scrambled sentences. You have to bring into the right sequence. So sometimes error identification, and sometimes there will be some other questions like arrangement, proper arrangement of that. Formal or informal sentences, sometimes sentence joining concept appears, so that you can really again, it's all about the sentence completion. It is all sentential aspects where you join at different short sentences into a meaningful sentence, and sometimes you complete the sentence with the appropriate word. Sometimes you identify the grammar mistake in that particular sentence, and you come up with a clean grammatical sentence. So these are all different aspects of sentence construction. So sentence arrangement or sentence construction is part of this verbal English paper. And also meanings, synonyms. What is the other name you see in the verbal English paper when it is similar to this concept of meanings? Yes, it is none other than synonyms. Okay, this is another concept, parallel or the same like meaning. So you have to find out the different the same meaning which contributes to the question word. So the same meaning with the two different words, synonyms. So you have to be careful when you learn synonyms. Just like synonyms, antonyms is also antonyms also occupy a very important place, like as synonyms, antonyms, and different like word completion, suitable words, appropriate words, or all different forms. Again, the same concept. What is that? That is like meaningful construction of any sentence. So vocabulary, what is the umbrella term for this? Vocabulary building. So under this you have different forms. What are those? Like appropriate word, like appropriate meaning, all this part of it. Next, formal or informal sentences. You have to sometimes come up with a formal sentence or an informal. You have to look at that. So if informal, what are the words? If formal, what are some different words you will choose, pick, and you eliminate? So all these are again part of it. Next, reading comprehension. Reading comprehension again is another dominant aspect that you will have to answer or appear in the exam. Like you have to appear for the exam where you have to go through this reading comprehension passages or reading comprehension paragraphs, and you read that. Again, you answer to the questions asked. So this is another challenging component in English. So if you have a proper command over this concept, reading comprehension, then almost you solved I think this puzzle or this challenge of clearing this verbal English paper. So you have to be very much confident when you are dealing with reading comprehension passages. So Number of questions approximately 24 to 25, and some 30 questions. So basically these are the components, these are the aspects asked, or that given for or at the time of verbal English paper or in a verbal English paper. So now today we will look at this error identification. Okay, so error correction, the third aspect that is appearing on the screen. So let us now look at a few examples of error correction and how you can really solve those. So let's start with the question number 1. So see, look at the option question, 4 options given for you, and of course I have provided you the right option and also appropriate explanation needed for it. So now look at the question. The organization aims to providing with satellite based data on climate relevant information with highest possible levels of accuracy and reliability. Okay, so here a few grammatical mistakes are there, even in spellings. So sometimes the questions are asked like that. I just picked up the right the exact questions right from the previous papers, and I just kept it for you just to show how these questions are given and what are some problems you can find with regard to spellings and with regard to the words. So they don't correct, you don't have to correct, but then you have to see the words like a relevant spelling error is there, reliable we say, right? Like how you can really, whether you can really trust and continue with the kind of result that is produced or the kind of product that is given to you. So whatever it is, the reliability matters a lot. So there is some problem with the word reliability, spelling error, and also relevant spelling error is there. But then here the question is all about error correction. So it's not only that you have to find out the error, but also you have to choose the right word. See, look at the question. Now here, even though there are a few problems in spellings, you will have to correct only from the words, or you have to choose only from the given options. Like you see, the organization aims to providing with satellite based data on climate relevant information with highest possible levels of accuracy and reliability. So options given for you are like this: to provide with, at B, at providing with, C, to provide, D, to the provision of, E, no correction required. So to provide with, at providing with, to provide, the provision of, no correction required. So now what do you see? What's the explanation here? So when you understand that the organization, for example, aims what? Aims at providing, or aims to provide with, or aims providing with, or aims to the provision of, aims no correction required. So how do you use the right word, like to provide with or at providing with, to provide or to the provision of, no correction? So how do you really pick and choose? For example, you don't say the organization aims at something, okay, at providing, or at arranging, or you don't say like that, right? It aims to give something, or it aims to focus on, it aims to, or it aims at those objectives, it aims at those for example like aspects. But when you find a sentence like aims to providing, then there is really a minor problem there. You have to use the right word. Aims to providing with satellite, you can say it aims to, or it aims to, or it is it decides to provide satellite based data. So you don't have to say again to, for example, generally you say at providing, okay, it focuses at doing something, or it aims at providing. When you say it aims at providing, you don't say with satellite based, you say, or it aims to provide with provide some kind of conditions, but you don't say it aims to providing with satellite based. So there is error. So how you can see the use of with here is incorrect. So you don't say aims to providing with it. You can say aims at providing something, but aims to providing with satellite is the wrong answer. So what do you have to say? It aims to provide. Okay, aims to provide, not provide with something. So what you can do is you can select the option C, aims to provide satellite based data on climate relevant information with highest possible levels of accuracy and reliability. So option C is a right answer. Next, question number 2. Underwater archaeology has huge potential as it could be a time consuming and a costly way to study the past. Underwater archaeology has huge potential as it could be a time consuming and costly way to study the past. So what's the problem here? And do you see any problem here? If so, what is the right answer you love to choose here? So indeed you have to choose. There is no other option for you to. And so this is an error. There is an error. You have to find out the answer basically in error correction questions. So let us see all the given options. Let's see and try. Underwater archaeology has huge potential as it is a time consuming and costly way to study the past, or as it could be a time consuming and costly way to study the past, or as it but it is as it could be but it is a time consuming and costly way to study the past, or as it could be since it could be a time consuming and costly way to study the past, or you can say but it could be a time consuming and costly way to study the past, or no correction required. What is the right answer? You can say C, for example, underwater archaeology has huge potential as it could be as it is a time consuming. Generally you don't say that, you are not giving a reason here, but you are giving a kind of like a excuse, or you're trying to show the you're not giving it an explanation here, but you're trying to show the reason it could have been, or maybe this is the factor. So you're trying to look at the right reason, and you are trying to give probably the right answer there. So what could be the reason for them? Like, so you can say underwater archaeology has huge potential, but it is a time consuming and costly way to study the past. So you don't say since it could be. You are not doing that. Since it is like that, so because of that, you are not saying. So basically the meaning of that is but it could be. Yes, you can use but here you are not trying to imagine, but it could be something like that. But here you can use this present simple with the connector but. So option B is the right answer. So how do you understand this aspect? See, the first part of the sentence here says positive about underwater archaeology. What is the positive aspect? Has huge potential, right? So has huge potential is a positive aspect here. And the second part brings out its drawbacks. Okay, the second part brings out its drawbacks, right? You are trying to see what you can see a contrast there. So some kind of contradiction given. Okay, it is a contradiction and hence it is apt to use a connector, contradictor, okay, like but. So you try and see using this. Underwater archaeology has huge potential, but it is a time consuming and costly way to study the past. So this is how you can understand this answer, right? This is how you can bridge in the sentence. So that's how you can choose the answer. So let us continue with the next question now. Each galaxy is surrounded by a giant sphere of dark matter more than 10 times so wide as a visible portion of the galaxy. Each galaxy is surrounded by a giant sphere of dark matter more than 10 times so wide as a visible portion of the galaxy. So now you have to see kind of like you're trying to give give the width of something. So how do you speak about width, and how do you do? See, each galaxy is surrounded by a giant sphere of dark matter more than 10 times so wide as the visible portion of the galaxy. So each galaxy, let us see all the options given here. Each galaxy is surrounded by a giant sphere of dark matter. The width, for example, say more than 10 times the width of the visible portion of the galaxy. So here it conveys the meaning. So for example, like is surrounded by, what galaxy is surrounded by a giant sphere of dark matter more than 10 times the width, more than 10 times the width of something. What is the width of something? Visible portion of the galaxy. So generally you don't say so wider than, or matter more than 10 times so wide as. So that is not appropriate here. When you say it is more times wider than that, when you can use when you are comparing it, but here you can say so it is 10 times wide. When you say you are using this wide adjective, then you can say wide of what? The width of something. You don't say of the width to the visible portion of the galaxy. It's wrong. You don't say in width than the visible portion of the galaxy. No, it's wrong. So no correction required. Yes, the correction, it is required. And what's that correction? The width of something. What is the width of something? The width of this visible portion of the galaxy. This is the right answer. Option A is the right answer. Next. So you can understand like that. Next, fourth question. Studies have revealed what more is a reason people are asked to come up with in support of an idea, the less value they ascribe to each. Studies have revealed what more is a reason people are asked. Studies have revealed what more is a reason people are asked to come up with in support of an idea, the less value they ascribe to it. So generally you don't say like what more is the reason people are asked to come up. What more is a reason people are asked to come up with in support of an idea. People are asked to come up with in support of an idea, the less value they ascribe to each. The less value they ascribe. What is the less value they ascribe? Like they try to claim which is not, and it say what more is a reason. So the people are asked to give a few reasons. So how do you come up with proper sentence? So let us apply all the given options and find out the right answer. Studies have revealed what more reasons people are asked to come up with. Or studies have revealed that more is the reason people are asked to come up with in support. Or try the C option, the next option. Studies have revealed what more is the reason people are asked. That is a reason. What is the reason? Or studies have revealed what more is the reason that the more reasons people are asked. Or the last option is no correction required. Now let us look at the answer. Option D. Why? What is option D? Studies have revealed what more reasons. Okay, what more the reasons are. Okay, or what more reasons people are asked here. So when you look at the sentence, there are two sentences here. What are this combined using a conjunction? Like what is that? See, studies have revealed that. The rest of the form is again a noun clause here. So what have the studies revealed? They have revealed that. See, there are different clauses here. They have revealed that something, hence appropriate conjunction is that it should be used. So you can say that option D, that the more reasons. For example, that people are asked to come up with in support of an idea. Okay, so the clause should have one main verb, for example, like asked, what people are asked, okay, what reasons are asked, okay, are asked to give. People are asked to come up with reasons in support of what, some idea. So the more they are asked, the less they, for the more they are asked, the less they is appropriate way of framing this. So therefore correction here happens in that the more reasons people are asked, the less value. The more reasons the people are asked, the less value. So you can go with the option D, that the more reasons. Okay, so it's very easy once you understand the concept. If you don't understand the concept, if you do not know appropriate sentence clauses, you won't be able to solve these questions, my dear students. So what is the best way to master these error correction questions? The only thing is you have to have proper grammar. You should know sentence construction confidently, properly, clearly. Only then you'll be able to identify the error and you can provide the solution. Next, move on to the question, another question, fifth question. Okay, so when he's short of money, he earns a little cash on being told the fortunes using a pack of tarot cards. When he's short of money, that when he lacks money or when he doesn't have enough money, he earns a little extra cash. He earns what? A little extra cash on being told the fortunes using a pack of tarot cards. What are what is that? Like being told the fortunes using a pack of tarot cards. So kind of tarot cards is a kind of card game where you can really play with the people around. So when he lacks it, he earns a little cash on this game. So how do you come up with a proper sentence? He earns, you understand, sometimes he falls short of money and thereby he earns some money by doing some other business, some other game. It's a card game here. So how do you use? He earns a little cash. So now how do you bridge being told the fortunes using a pack of tarot cards? Here there is some problem with the sentence here. Being told the fortunes, being told the fortunes using a pack of tarot cards. Like by being told fortunes, by telling fortunes, by telling of the fortune of, or on telling fortunes, or no correction required. Okay, by being told the fortunes of. So by being told the fortunes of means what? When he's short of money, he earns a little extra cash on being told is wrong. So what is appropriate word? Like by telling fortunes using a pack of tarot cards, or by telling of the fortune of using a pack of tarot cards, or by telling fortunes using a pack of tarot cards, or by being told of fortunes, or by using a pack of tarot cards. So here you find some grammatical errors, right? And these are not proper. And the last option given for you is no correction required. Now let us try. By being told fortunes using a pack of is not. It's again a passive form. Okay, yes, it's but it's by being told. Again, you don't have to take this passive form. Also you can say he earns a little extra cash on fortunes, telling fortunes using a pack, you can say, or by telling fortunes using a pack of tarot cards. Yes, this conveys a little meaningful sense. Okay, or he earns a little extra cash by telling of the fortune of using a pack of tarot cards. Wrong. Grammatically, it is wrong. You don't say by telling of the fortune of tarot cards. You don't say that. Next, being told the fortunes using a pack of tarot cards. By using the fortunes using a pack of tarot, you don't say that on telling fortunes using a pack of tarot cards. You don't say that too. So you have to be careful when you are using this. No correction required. So option B is the right answer. How? By telling fortunes using a pack of tarot cards. By telling fortunes of something. Okay. So that is very important. You have to, say that by telling of the fortune of something using a pack of tarot cards. So that is the sense. By telling fortunes, he using a pack of tarot cards, he earns a little extra cash when he falls short of money. So B is the right answer. So you have to replace, and also hence by has to replace on. By telling instead of saying on, okay, you have to say use by telling fortunes of money, okay, using it. So it has it is a profession that's been taken up by him. Next question, move on to the next question. Mobile phones are nowadays used not just to make calls or send and receive text messages, but to also carry on financial transaction, See, read carefully the question given here. There is some problem with the sentence here, right? Mobile phones, they are not only used just to make calls, also there is some other use for with that, like you can really continue with these financial transactions, right? So what's that? Receive text messages to carry on financial transactions, so that is very important. What do you carry? You carry some kind of financial transaction. So which is why you take out this kind of in a profession, like you use mobile phones, or you look at this mobile phones from different perspectives. So now you have to choose the right option here. What is the right option? The answer is option C. Why? For example, mobile phones are nowadays used not just to make calls or send and receive text messages, but also to carry out. You don't say but to also carry. But to also carry is grammatically wrong. But also to carry out or carry on financial transactions. So carry out, you have to carry out means what? You have to do something, carry out. That's a kind of task you have to carry out. You say carry on is wrong, but carry out is right. So also to carry out. So option C is a right answer. So the use of to before is ungrammatical here. Okay, carried out. That is the right answer. Next question. Scientists have estimated that millions of creatures living in water had been dying every year if they become entangled in plastic pollution or ingested. Scientists have estimated that millions of creatures living in water had been dying every year if they become entangled in plastic pollution or ingested. So, like there's a report, an estimation that millions of creatures living in water had been dying every year if they become, what is that? If they become, that if clause is mistaken, is wrongly used. If they become entangled, covered or completely in plastic pollution. So let us see every option given here. Every year is dying. For scientists have estimated millions of creatures living in water had been every year is dying as, or in water every year is dying as if they become. You don't say that's grammatically, it's nowhere it doesn't say. Or living creatures has died every year as if they become entangled. It's grammatically completely wrong, grammatically flaw sentence. Like you can say these living creatures in water die every year when they become entangled in plastic pollution. Yes, it conveys the right answer. What you have to say is they become, like they had been dying every year. You don't say if they become. Here both past perfect shouldn't be used when you are using if condition. And yes, you can use, but here the sentence is not proper. The condition, the tense of it is not appropriate. Had been dying every year if they become. No, it's wrong. They die every year when something happens. War. You can say just like if condition, if you come, you can go like that. So if condition first clause, if they die if they become entangled, so that is a condition you can apply here. Option C, die every year when they become entangled in plastic pollution or ingested. So that is the right answer. So, see, for example, say that it happens every year. Every year is a habitual, general. You can say, you can use normal, simple present. Hence, it is the most apt to use the simple present tense, die. Instead of saying had been dying, had died, has died, you can simply use simple present tense, die, in this context here. Okay. And if is as the condition here is illogical. If you cannot say like if they become, it's wrong. You can say when they become, or they die when they get entangled in. Right. So that is the right answer. Next, 8th question. One of the grievances of the Kashmiri locals is about the overbearing presence of security personnel in residential areas. One of the grievances of Kashmiri locals is about the overbearing presence of security personnel in residential areas. The overbearing presence of, what's the right answer? Let us say one of the grievances of Kashmiri locals is about overbearing presence in the security in residential areas, or overbearing in presence of security personnel in residential areas. No, it is not right. In the overbearing presence of security personnel in residential areas. Now, what is the option here? There is no flaw, and it is properly grammatically produced, constructed sentences. One of the grievances of the Kashmiri locals is about the overbearing presence of security personnel in residential areas. So that's the right answer. You can really go ahead with. Next, 9th question. The Copernican principle states that the cosmos is the same whenever you went. Oh my God, grammatically, flaw. A grammatical flaw is very much observed, and grammatically wrong sentence. Okay, so on grammatical, the Copernican principle. What is this Copernican principle? States that cosmos is the same wherever you go. Generally, you'd say whenever you go. Whenever you don't say, right? Wherever you go. Wherever you went is grammatically wrong again. Any which way you went is also wrong. Whichever way you went here. The question word is went but not want is grammatically wrong. Wherever you go, yes, the right answer. So option D is the right answer. The principle states that it has to be given. Okay, so the simple present tense. The use of went is incorrect. So wherever you go, you say. So wherever has to replace whenever. So it's not wrong to use whenever. Wherever means like wherever you go, whatever place you go, which is okay. You can. It is the same wherever you go. Simple present tense can be used. So option D is the right answer. Wherever you go is the right answer. One of the chief emotional differences between man and other animals is that some human desires, unlikely that of animals, are essentially boundless and incapable of complete satisfaction. One of the chief emotional differences between man and other animals is that some human desires, unlikely that of animals, are essentially boundless and incapable of complete satisfaction. So given options are unlike that of animals. How do you use when you are kind of like trying to show the difference? Unlike those of animals, or unlikely those in animals, unlikable in animals, no correction required. So the comparison is between human desires and the desires of other animals. As human desires is plural here, those should be used in place of that. Also, the use of unlikely is absurd. Unlikely is absurd. It is a comparison basically. Okay, unlike the desires of animals, human desires are insatiable. Okay, insatiable, or you can say like that is the suggested meaning here. Hence, the correction is like unlike those of animals. B, okay, unlike those of animals, right, they are essentially boundless and incapable of complete satisfaction. So unlike those, when you're comparing, unlike those, you don't say unlikely that of animals when you're comparing. Okay, so you have to be careful. So option B is the right answer. Next, 11th one. Compared to most other diseases in which bacteria or parasites take over the body in cancer, the forces to destruct is more closely to be entwined with the fundamental mechanisms of life. So compared to that of most diseases, for example, in which bacteria or parasites take over the body in cancer, like the forces to destruct is more closely to be entwined with the fundamental mechanisms of life. So what is the right option here? Option D is the right answer. What is option D? Like compared to other diseases, okay, in which bacteria or parasites take over the body in cancer, the forces of destruction are more closely to be entwined with the fundamental mechanisms of life. We don't say forces of destructing is mostly to be more closely to be entwined. You don't say that. Or you don't say forces of destruction is more close and to be entwined with the fundamental mechanism. You don't say. Or you can say the forces of destruction are more or most close to be entwined with the fundamental mechanisms of life. Or in cancer, the forces of destruction are more closely, or no correction required. You can definitely go with the option D, because the forces of destruction or the forces causing destruction here, okay, so they are more closely. What are these? These are more closely. Forces is plural here, so you have to say are. You have to replace it with the plural verb are, and are has to replace is. They're closely entwined with something. They are, not there is entwined. Okay, so the forces of destruction are more closely entwined with the use of the phrase close, and to be entwined is something which is not very clear. Okay, so you can go with the option D. Right, last one for this session. We will see the question follows here. As a child, she was looking plainly, but now she has turned out remarkably pretty. As a child, she was looking plainly, but now she has turned out remarkably pretty. So she looked, as a child, she was looking plainly. You don't use like past continuous. Okay, she looked plainly, but now she has turned out remarkably. Or as a child, she is looking plain, so you don't use present tense there, but now she has turned out. So option A, B is also wrong, are all wrong. So now option C, as a child she looked plainly, but now she has turned out remarkably. Yes. Option E, now because you use simple past because it was all about the childhood, right? You can go with the option C. As a child she looked plain, or she looked like that. Now she has turned out plainly. She turned out to be remarkably pretty. So to look plain means like ordinary looking generally. Okay, she was ordinary looking or she was looking plain. But later on she turned out to be beautiful. So looked plain is a right answer. Simple past you need to use. Okay, so this is how you have to understand the question. So you have to look at the tense here in order to check the error, especially the sentence correction. Here mostly all the questions given are about sentences, or sentences, sentential aspects. So you have to look at the plural, tense, again the construction of the sentence. Only then you'll be able to identify the error and choose the option given in the question. So we will continue with the rest of the questions in the following session, in the next upcoming session. Until then, practice, remember, and then try to work out on yourselves, and you have to work out on these rules and regulations, so you can come up with good results in case you practice. If you just listen, you may forget. So practice it, you may remember it, and you may really acquire the essential rules and regulations. So practice it, work out for yourself, and try to get the right answers. So until then, see you. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.